Imagine living in a world where the truth can get you killed, where corporations will hunt you down, burn your car, tap your phones, and destroy your life, just to keep their darkest secrets buried. Now imagine there's one man who specializes in making those secrets disappear, a ghost who operates in the shadows, protecting whistleblowers from the powerful forces that want them silenced. But what happens when the fixer himself gets caught in a trap he never saw coming? When the person he's trying to save turns out to be his greatest enemy? Before we dive into this twisted tale of deception and betrayal, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like icon. Trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end of this story, because the final twist will leave you absolutely speechless. Now let's begin. Our story opens in the suffocating silence of a crowded restaurant. A man named Hoffman sits alone at a table, his hands trembling slightly as he waits. His face is drawn tight with fear, his eyes darting nervously toward the entrance. He's not here for dinner. He's here to hand over something that could destroy lives or save them. Moments later, the CEO of Optimo Pharmaceuticals walks through the door. He doesn't even recognize Hoffman, this man whose conscience is about to cost him everything. The CEO's only interest is the file, a report that Hoffman clutches like it's both a lifeline and a death sentence. Hoffman slides it across the table but warns him. A copy stays with his representative. If anything happens to me, Hoffman says quietly, that copy goes straight to the authorities. They take a photograph together, a moment frozen in time. Then the CEO leaves carrying secrets worth millions. But Hoffman isn't alone, he never was. From a taxi parked across the street, another man watches everything unfold. His name is Ash, and he's what you might call a fixer. Someone who operates in the spaces between law and chaos, protecting people who've seen things they were never meant to see. Through encrypted communication, Ash guides Hoffman to safety, making sure he boards the subway and disappears into the crowded underground. The deal is done. The payment comes through. Hoffman leaves Ash a voicemail. As long as I stick to my side of the deal, we're done with each other. The next morning, Ash travels to a secret location known only to him. Inside a hidden safe, he places the Optimo Pharmaceuticals file among dozens of other documents, each one representing someone's life, someone's truth, someone's dangerous secret. He locks the safe. The file is secure. But this story is far from over. Across the city, a woman named Sarah is running for her life, and she doesn't even know it yet. Sarah sits across from an attorney, her voice barely steady as she explains her nightmare. She used to work for a major agricultural company, developing genetically modified wheat. During her research, she discovered something horrifying, a food safety report that revealed devastating side effects, extreme allergic reactions, links to cancer. Thousands, maybe millions of people could be poisoned if this wheat reaches the market. When Sarah brought her concerns to senior management, they dismissed her, told her she'd misinterpreted the data, that there was nothing to worry about. 2 months later, she was transferred to another department. Shortly after that, she was fired. But Sarah made a critical decision before she left. She kept a copy of the food safety assessment, evidence that could bring the entire company down. Now they're hunting her. A man named Dawson follows her everywhere. Strange cars park outside her apartment. Her phone is tapped. Her every move is monitored. And then one night she comes home to find her car engulfed in flames. A message burned into metal and glass. We know where you are. Terrified, Sarah moves into a hotel and calls the number the attorney gave her. The phone rings into silence. She leaves a voicemail explaining everything, her voice cracking with desperation. She has no idea who's on the other end. She doesn't know if anyone will even call back, but someone is listening. Ash. He researches her, digs through her work history, her social media, every digital footprint she's left behind. And then he calls her back, but not in any way she'd expect. He uses a relay telecommunication service designed for deaf people. Ash types his words and an operator speaks them to Sarah. Whatever Sarah says is typed back to Ash. The entire conversation is confidential, untraceable, invisible. Through careful questioning, Ash learns the full scope of Sarah's danger. The wheat could harm thousands. Her company is about to be acquired, and if this information goes public, the deal collapses. They'll do anything to keep her silent. Outside her hotel window, a van is parked, watching, waiting. Ash confirms what she already fears. Her calls are being tapped. Inside that van, Dawson's team intercepts everything. Ash makes his decision. He'll help her, but it comes with a price. $50,000 up front. He promises the money will be returned through negotiation. But first, Sarah has to do something that seems impossible. She has to trust a complete stranger with her life. What follows is a masterclass in deception. Ash sends Sarah detailed instructions. She's to take a flight from New York to Pittsburgh, then onward to Atlanta. She cannot carry her own phone. She must travel with the file, the cash, and a phone marked with red tape. Do not open that phone, Ash warns, until you reach the Pittsburgh gate. Dawson's team follows her to the airport, but what they don't know is that Ash is already there. Disguised, invisible, 3 steps ahead. After they land in Pittsburgh, Ash buys a bag and leaves it at Lost and Found with Sarah's name on it. Then he calls her through the relay service. At that exact moment, an announcement echoes through the terminal. Sarah Grant, please come to Lost and Found. Dawson sprints toward the desk. Ash calmly tells Sarah to ignore it and head to the post office instead. Another announcement, another distraction. Dawson realizes too late that he's being played. From a distance, Ash photographs everything. Sarah mails 2 packages and gives him the tracking numbers. One of Dawson's people, Rossetti, retrieves the receipt from the trash. They think they've won. They think they know which package contains the file. But Ash has already anticipated their every move. Through mail forwarding, decoy addresses, and carefully timed deliveries, Ash retrieves the package from a 3rd post office. Inside, $50,000 in used bills and the complete file, 311 pages of damning evidence. Ash sends a text to Sarah's former company's CEO. I have your file. Leave my client alone, and I'll return it. Then he plants a phone on Dawson's van and calls through the relay service, speaking on behalf of his client. The terms are clear. Stop following Sarah or the file goes public. The original will be returned, but Ash keeps a copy as insurance. And for his services, $500,000 in cash. Dawson steps out of the van and signals Ash to come closer. But Ash doesn't move. Instead, he watches from a building across the street as Dawson and his team drive away. Sarah calls to thank him. Ash outlines the next steps and establishes a safety protocol. Every evening at 6, Sarah leaves a voicemail. If something's wrong, she says weather. If everything's fine, she says all right. The exchange seems simple, professional, but something else is happening, something Ash didn't plan for. As the days pass, the lines between protector and protected begin to blur. Ash meets with Wash, a woman from his group therapy circle who's also a police officer. Both of them have struggled with alcohol. Both of them are fighting to stay sober. Wash encourages Ash to open up, to share the weight he carries. Meanwhile, Dawson agrees to Ash's terms and sends the money through the post office. But hidden inside the cash package is a tracker, one with batteries designed to last 4 to 5 days. With the money in transit, Sarah moves more freely. During one of their calls, Ash suggests a music album. Sarah buys it and plays a track. And in that small, intimate exchange, something shifts. Ash finds himself checking her social media, thinking about her between calls, crossing the professional boundaries he's built his entire life around. One day, Sarah misses their scheduled message. Ash calls back, worried. This time, he doesn't use the relay service. He fakes a direct conversation, speaking to her himself for the first time. Their exchanges become less transactional, more personal. But Ash warns her to keep communication minimal. What he doesn't tell her is that Dawson is still tracking every word. Then the trap springs. Dawson leaves a voicemail. The money's been delivered, but there's a problem. The file Ash promised was 311 pages, but the original document is 327 pages. 16 pages are missing. Where are they? Dawson demands every single page. Ash contacts Sarah, his voice sharp with urgency. Appendix C is missing. Sarah protests that those pages don't contain anything important, that they're still in her possession. Ash's tone turns cold. I told you to follow every instruction carefully. If you fail, I might not be able to protect you. The threat terrifies Sarah. She worries Ash will abandon her. Instead, he rushes to Times Square and instructs her to hide the remaining pages at the very bottom of a specific newspaper stack. Sarah does exactly as he says and leaves. But when Ash checks the pile, the pages aren't there. The operation is collapsing. Most people would walk away. Ash doesn't. He recruits a local beggar to create a distraction, throwing newspapers into the air in a wild performance. In the chaos, Ash retrieves the pages from the wrong pile. Dawson chases after the beggar, but it's too late. Ash has what he needs. He calls Dawson and reminds him of their agreement. Do you want me to make this file public? Dawson apologizes and the terms are set. The handover will happen in person at a public location. Both Sarah and the CEO will attend. Back home, Hoffman is unraveling. The guilt of all the people who died because of his company's lies has become unbearable. There's blood on my hands, he tells Ash in a voicemail. I won't call you anymore. The words hang in the air like a final goodbye. Ash knows deep in his gut that Hoffman won't survive this. In group therapy, Ash finally opens up. He gives his name as John and confesses that he's Muslim, that after September 11th, It became impossible to live in New York without drowning in prejudice and violence. So he started drinking to fit in, to numb the pain of being beaten in the streets. He found work on Wall Street, but he saw things there that were wrong, corruption that ran deep. When he reported it to his superiors, nothing happened. The drinking got worse. Eventually, someone paid him to stay quiet, forced him to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Ash took the deal in a moment of shock and shame, and he's carried that guilt ever since. Wash offers him comfort, and Ash prepares for the final exchange. He calls Sarah and tells her the original file has arrived at the post office. A table is booked under the name Adam at a specific restaurant, but that night Sarah doesn't show up. She doesn't answer his calls. Ash senses immediately that something is wrong. Then Sarah leaves him a voicemail that changes everything. Dawson identified him using facial recognition. They know his name is James Caton. Sarah says it's all her fault, that she'll do the handover herself. But Ash knows the truth. It's a trap. Ash races to the new location, a crowded concert venue packed with people. He searches desperately through the crowd, calling Sarah's number over and over. No answer. In a moment of brilliance, Ash triggers the fire alarm. The crowd surges toward the exits, and in the chaos, Ash spots Ryan, one of Dawson's men. He attacks, then calls Sarah and gives her the passcode. This is me. This is a trap. Ash pulls Sarah out of the venue and into a waiting taxi. As they speed through the city streets, Sarah begs him to stop, to tell her why he's done all of this for her. Ash says coldly, "It's my job." But Sarah sees through him. "Not this far, James," she whispers. Ash's voice drops to a whisper. "That's not my name." When Sarah asks who he really is, he answers quietly, "My name is Ashro." They reach the train station. Sarah has to continue alone from here. Before they part, Ash reaches out and gently touches her hair, a moment so tender it almost breaks him. Sarah walks toward the train and Ash watches until she boards until she's safe. But safety is an illusion. A call comes through on Sarah's phone. She's in Dawson's control. Ash threatens to make the document public, but Dawson offers a counter-proposal. "Take us to your secret location, return the copy you kept, and we'll leave Sarah and your other client alone." Ash agonizes over the decision. Leading Dawson to his hidden safe would endanger every other client he's ever helped, every secret he's ever protected. In his distress, he almost starts drinking again. He doesn't, but he does ask Wash for help. Finally, Ash agrees. "Fine, I'll do this." The next morning, Ash arrives outside Sarah's apartment. In the van nearby, Dawson's team is waiting. They stun him, tie his hands, and throw him inside. Sarah is there too, already restrained. Dawson points a gun at Sarah and demands the location. Ash gives it up, but when the moment is right, he fights back, throwing Lee out of the van, taking Dawson down. Then, suddenly, Sarah stuns Ash from behind. And in that moment, the truth is revealed. Sarah herself is the leader of the team. Everything, every tear, every frightened phone call, every desperate plea for help, it was all a lie. They never wanted to silence her. They wanted Hoffman's file, the Optimo Pharmaceuticals documents that Ash had locked away. Sarah was the trap all along. They reach Ash's secret location. The room can only be opened with a password. Dawson's people untie Ash's hands, but instead of cooperating, Ash enters the wrong code. Smoke fills the room. In the chaos, Ash runs. He attacks Ryan and seizes his gun. Dawson opens fire. A passing car strikes Ash hard, sending him sprawling across the pavement. But he doesn't stop. Bleeding, staggering, he crosses railway tracks and hides between shipping containers. Rossetti hears him climbing and closes in. Ash runs again, and this time he comes face to face with Sarah. Both have their guns drawn, aimed directly at each other. The woman he tried to save, the woman who destroyed him. Ash lowers his weapon. "Do it," he says quietly, his voice empty of everything except exhaustion. At that moment, sirens pierce the air. Police cars surround them. It's Wash. The entire group is arrested. Ash explains everything. He has documents exposing Optimo Pharmaceuticals, proving their products cause devastating side effects, and these people were trying to steal them. Wash asks why he has them. Ash's answer is simple. "This is my job. I help people who've seen things they were never meant to see." Later, Ash goes to a post office and collects the package of money, $500,000 in cash. He keeps half for himself and sends the other half to the relay service workers who helped him stay invisible. Then he boards a train and disappears into the distance, a ghost once more. Soon after, the truth about Optimo Pharmaceuticals breaks in the media. The corruption is exposed, the lies are revealed, and somewhere out there, Ash continues his work, protecting the whistleblowers, the truth tellers, the ones brave enough to speak up against the powerful. This is a story about trust and betrayal, about the impossible choices we make to protect others and the devastating cost of doing the right thing. Ash gave everything to save someone who never needed saving, who used his compassion as a weapon against him. But even in betrayal, even in loss, he didn't stop fighting. Because some battles aren't about winning. They're about refusing to let the truth die in silence. In a world where corporations can destroy lives with impunity, where whistleblowers are hunted and silenced, there are people like Ash, invisible fixers working in the shadows, risking everything to protect those who dare to speak the truth. And maybe that's the real message here. Even when you're betrayed, even when everything falls apart, the fight for truth is always worth it. If this story moved you, hit that like button and drop a comment below telling us what you thought about Sarah's betrayal. Did you see it coming? And don't forget to subscribe for more emotional cinematic movie recaps that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking the truth, and remember, sometimes the person you trust the most is the one hiding the darkest secret.